Hey guys, so which one of these do you like? The original one that's right there next to you?
Yeah.
Or do you like the one that's got a lot of power and is fast?
This one.
That one? Harper, which one would you rather have?
And
Alright.
this one just do 50 miles per hour, and this one does like affinity.
Pretty much. That'd be a pretty accurate assessment. Hey everyone, it's Josh, J Vintage Honda Minis, East Orlando, Florida. We're gonna just go over this green bike and do some cleanup work. I'll show you how I will get the rims and clean that engine up, go over some of the chrome, do as much as we can without replacing parts. Obviously replace if necessary, but I just wanted to use this bike as an example that we can look back on the process of me doing my hubs and getting those cleaned and painted and polished, using the soda blaster to clean this exterior of the engine while it's still assembled and installed in the bike. You can use the brass wheels and some products to get the existing chrome cleaned up, and so on with some of the videos I've already published. So we'll go ahead and kind of get a look at the bike of how it is before we do that work on it, and then we'll compare it to the end result. So we'll use this as a time to look real quick before I start taking it apart. We'll replace, you know, the wear items, chains, sprockets, tires, and repurpose a lot of the hard frame items here instead of buying new. I know the bars I'm gonna have to replace because that chrome is pretty shot, and after all the effort, all the effort in the bike, I'm not gonna keep rusty bars on here. So got my hands on a set of CHP new bars, which are really nice bars if you can find them in stock. So it's a close-up of the engine. I'll soda blast this engine, mask off the jug, and get that repainted with the black high temp paint. Pull the clutch cover because I'll blast that and clean it. I'll service the clutch while I'm at it. Alright, so I'm gonna get busy on this thing. Alright, so the work is done for cleaning the bike up. We're gonna go over it, take a look at it. I'll show you the results based on those links of previous videos and techniques of how to clean up the bike, or at least the way I do it. I did make some adjustments to the process just to get some results. I mean, these are older videos that I make. I constantly refine the way I work, but that stuff is pretty much good information. I'll kind of add a little bit as we look over the bike of some other techniques or processes I used. Seat didn't make it back on. Customer wanted a CHP seat. Old tires were dry rotted. The electrical, the harness was chewed up. The brake cables were not good enough to go back on. They had cracks in them, etc. So we just kind of replaced some things as we deemed necessary. These are the hard items that didn't make it back on. I wasn't sending anything out to, nothing was going to get sent out to chrome or zinc. Just we were going to do it in a kind of a budget-minded manner. So shocks are bent. Can't reuse those. Original carb, cleaned it, just couldn't get it to operate as good. Some of these carbs just never make it back after being so old, and a lot of internal components get worn and orifices get enlarged, etc. Jug, I'll explain why that's sitting there. That cover was cracked and broken there on the fastening tab. Some old hardware, springs from the shock. The handlebars were just chewed up, so no polishing would make them good enough to put them back on, and then the foot brake got pulled too. So that's essentially all the parts that didn't make it back on the bike. So let's go ahead and take a look at the finished cleaning process here, finished results. Alright, so here's the final results. Okay, so that's original paint that we cleaned up. It's got its 50 years of character on it, some nicks and scratches, but it cleaned up really well. That's what I used to I used this full strength, this Dawn degreaser, and then I wiped it down pretty quickly. I tested it, didn't see any caustic situation or anything happening with the paint, so I kept using it, and it works very, very, very effectively as far as breaking that dirt and oil. Like breaks right through it and pulls it right off. So used it full strength, and then followed with a nice follow-up with a wet, clean wet towel to just get it off the paint and move on. Finished up with some turtle wax. I mean, this stuff works just fine. It's got ceramic, hybrid, whatever. A lot of this over the shelf or on the shelf stuff has come a long way. I used to detail boats and cars and use more of the expensive high-end boutique polishes and stuff, but I gotta say this stuff works just fine. I mean, that was 10 years ago. I was buying all the Menzerna and expensive stuff, detailing cars and boats, but I wouldn't shy away from spending 12 bucks or whatever this thing is and getting a durable wax. The paint here is because I had to put a steering stop on and weld it. It was missing, so I went with custom paint to match the original emerald green, or do a close matchup as possible. So we got the base silver, the candy green, and 2K 2-part epoxy polyurethane clear coat. There's the steering stop. So let's kind of go over the other stuff. Oh, engine wise, cleaned it with the soda blast method, pulled the clutch cover just to service the clutch while I was there, and then repainted the cover. Top end, once I got the bike running, it just wasn't as healthy as I thought it was going to be. I rode it briefly, or turned it on and got it running briefly before starting the overhaul project, but it turned out that one of the rings was stuck on the piston, the second compression ring, and the cylinder head was tired too from a valve and valve seat condition. So we ended up cleaning and rebuilding the original cylinder head on the bench, and we went with an 88 kit, TV parts, just to upbore it. But I still did use the soda blast method to clean the engine while it was on the bike itself. Rear rims, showed you how to clean those in the video I linked you to. Some polishing work. Rear shocks, I went with a heavy duty aftermarket set and swapped the original green beauty caps onto the aftermarket set. All this chrome was, I ended up taking it all off and using, I don't show it in the other video or address it in the soda blast video, but it's safe for chrome soda blasting, and all this stuff ran through that process to get a lot of the crap off of it, especially underneath these fenders, which are now nice and clean, and then polished out after that. I did put new bars on. The other ones weren't gonna make it through the cleaning process and still look good. Polished the top plate, original fork legs, boots, beauty caps there, original fenders, original headlight. All this stuff's all original still. Had to replace this thing. This was broken, but polished up everything else. But you can see the case is nice and cleaned up. I changed out some hardware, and that's a CHP seat. Put a new harness in there, cleaned the tank, pulled it, put some new lines. So, a lot of elbow grease, a lot of time, labor put into it, but we didn't go full on chrome work, zinking, paint work. So there was substantial savings by not doing the full style restoration, and you still get this unique result, meaning original paint, original parts for the most part, and still a really good looking bike. Alright, so let's just kick this over real quick, but just want to get out there before I end the videos. I have a website. This is my business. I strictly work on these mini trails, CT70, Z50, small bore Hondas, vintage. My website has all my services on there that I offer, and I'm going to update it to now start selling parts like an e-commerce site. So that's in the works. But let's get this bike kicked over. Alright, so that's a wrap on this video. Got some other projects always going on. That's a mod build with a 190 in it. I got another hardtail Z inside the property doing that build too. That's going to be a mod build. And plenty of restoration jobs going on too. So I'll try to find some good info to make videos on and upload it as I go on those projects. Please subscribe. Give me a call if you need parts. Give me a call if you need service work or restorations. I'm in Central Florida. Appreciate it. Thanks.